for the Super Late Model Competition of the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series as Ford Heavy Trucks brings you the action. Home to Batesville Speedway, the racetrack that spawned the racing career of NASCAR driver Mark Martin and the Bill Davis racing team, is ready to host the first ever competitive performance of the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series. Hello, race fans. This is Trace Ali, along with the voice of the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series, Ozzie Altman, and the Arkansas 100 is just about ready to get underway.
A lot of excitement here in the state of Arkansas at Batesville Speedway this weekend, Trace. The 7th points event of the 1997 Hav-A-Tampa season. Through the first 6 races, we've seen 6 different faces in victory lane. Also 6 different pole winners, and nobody has won from that #1 starting spot this year.
And one of the guys that fits that bill, and so far with a pole and a win in the Hav-A-Tampa series, is Billy Moyer, who hails from Batesville, Arkansas. But last night, as he won himself a position in the race, he drove a brand new Larry Shaw racing car. Of course, Larry Shaw Race Cars is based right here in Batesville, Arkansas, and it was kind of a reunification of a group of people, including Larry and Billy, who dominated Midwest racing for a long time, for about 10 years, Ozzie.
No doubt the strength of the Batesville connection apparent here at Batesville Speedway this weekend. Larry Shaw providing a chassis now for Billy Moyer, who starts for the first time in one of those cars this weekend. We had a chance to visit with Larry Shaw at his shop here in Batesville.
It's an all-new facility for Larry Shaw and his family as they continue to chase the dream of making racing's finest race cars. Like the competitive race teams that he builds those race cars for, Larry Shaw knows how critical a few seconds can be. On Daytona Sunday in 1994, fire swept through Larry Shaw Race Cars manufacturing plant and tried to put him out of the race. The great effort of friends, family, and firefighters saved Shaw's major parts business. But in just a few minutes, Shaw lost critical equipment and the buildings that gave life to his race cars. It was a tough way to start a season.
Yeah, it was 1994. About the same time they threw the checker in the Daytona 500. It was about the time it caught on fire. Of course, we was in Daytona. We missed the whole deal, but so many race fans in the community really got involved and got a lot of our stuff out of the building, but we still had a major loss. Billy Moyer was here, and Kevin and Kirk, and just everybody, just when they heard about this all there. Of course, it went up so fast that they didn't get a lot out, but what they did get out, I sure appreciate it, because we didn't have near enough coverage to cover what we lost. Really, racing is kind of a family deal. It seemed like everybody just kind of stays in, whether it's competition or not, you know. I mean, I've got competition that I think the world of, and they'll do anything for me, and I would for them too.
Fighting back from the fire with family support, Larry Shaw regrouped and looked to the future. Among the many who helped pull Shaw's business out of the fire was brother-in-law Billy Moyer. Moyer, in Shaw's race cars in the 80s, had created a winning team out of Batesville for a full decade. And this weekend, Moyer returns to compete in a Larry Shaw race car in the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series.
I think if you're in dirt car, late model racing for sure, you know, Hav-A-Tampa is, that's what everybody's looking at now. You know, the competition's heavy, it's tough, and if you can get in the feature, you're going to make good money, and if you can win the feature, you're going to make real good money, and then you get a lot of TV coverage, and it's unreal what Hav-A-Tampa's done for dirt racing.
From the early career days of NASCAR's Mark Martin to the boom times of today's dirt track late model racing, Shaw's presence is visible in virtually every Batesville, Arkansas successful racing venture. That's because Larry Shaw knows how to win and never stops trying to win again.
Larry Shaw Race Cars from right here in Batesville, Arkansas, showing their strength. Billy Moyer winning his heat race in one of those cars last night. Also, Houston, Texas driver Robbie Starnes and Rex Ritchie out of Ringo, Georgia in the Larry Shaw house car. but the Batesville connection real strong here, not only in those Larry Shaw cars. Wendell Wallace sits on the pole for the Arkansas 100 here today.
And Wendell Wallace is a brother-in-law, of course, to Larry Shaw. So it all kind of ties together here as the Arkansas 100 gets ready for all the Batesville gang and all the other guys from around the country who are ready to race in the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Track Racing Series. We'll be back with more as we continue with our coverage. The Arkansas 100 with the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series is about to get underway here at Batesville Speedway. But before that action takes place, we need to sort of recount a couple more things, Ozzie Altman, and that's this Batesville connection we keep talking about. One of those guys is Wendell Wallace.
Wendell Wallace, definitely one of the strongest drivers in dirt late model action right now in America. Not only did he win last year's Hav-A-Tampa shootout, he kicked off the 97 season with that victory in the Tampa Nugget 100. He enters this weekend second in the points. He could be the first repeat winner in 1997. Now, another one of those Arkansas drivers on the move and running real good right now, although he suffered some misfortune last week. Greenbrier, Arkansas's Bill Fry will try to make it to the big show today with a broken right arm. A whale of a job he did in last night's heats with that situation right now.
Just two of the great drivers of the Arkansas Travel Club, as we like to refer to them. Let's visit for a minute with Wendell Wallace and Bill Fry.
Well, we travel all over the country and race on different racetracks, and they do too. So, you know, you really ain't got no home court advantage, really. You know, I've probably run here, you know, a little bit more than other guys, but you know, they're professionals too, so when they unload here, it'll just take them a little bit and they'll be real familiar with the racing surface. Pretty much, though, you can watch the racetracks and kind of tell about what you need, and if you ain't sure, you just flip a coin, stick on whatever.
Bill Fry, talk about this racetrack and some of the things you've encountered over the years in racing here.
Well, this is a real driver's racetrack. It's kind of hard to get a handle on. It's wide. You can usually pass on it and have a real good race here. We won the topless last year. That was probably one of the biggest wins of my career. We enjoyed that. We had a few problems during the race and came from the rear a couple times, so we were really good to win that race. We won a lot of super races and MLRA races here, and we've struggled in some of them. So this is a track you've either got a handle on or you're really hurting.
Are you setting the car up more for the race when you go out there? Or are you doing three different setups? One for hot laps, one for heat races, and one for the final race itself?
No, we pretty well work on the feature stuff, and usually time trials and heat race will come to us. Occasionally, the fields are so competitive now that if you miss a couple compounds on a tire, you know, you look bad in a heat race or timing in, so it's easy to miss now. We go to a lot of these shows, and there's 40 cars that don't make the field, so it's real easy to make a little mistake and look bad in qualifying, but we generally concentrate on the feature.
Just some of the thoughts from, of course, Greenbrier, Arkansas's Bill Fry, and Batesville, Arkansas's Wendell Wallace, and just two more reasons why dirt track late model race fans across America are coming out to see these great races, Ozzie.
Two of the most exciting drivers in any form of motorsports, and of course, they're just like the hundreds of others that compete weekly in the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series. Now, in heat race action, the drivers took a little different line around Batesville Speedway. 4 different chassis manufacturers represented in those heat races. Let's take a look at how that action stacked up.
Saturday night was supposed to be the 100-lap feature, but of course the rain and the cold took us out of that Friday night. But 00, Freddie Smith quickly had himself a contest as Wendell Wallace from Batesville, Arkansas, in the Monday Racing 6M went to the inside and they made contact almost immediately on the first lap coming out of turn 4. Wallace would of course go on to take the lead and continue to lead the 00. Freddie Smith is the defending champion, but right now Wendell Wallace, as he wins heat race number 1, is beginning to look like the contender himself. While Ronnie Johnson in heat race number 2 had some competition, a respectable comeback from Ray Cook, who battled up to second to take his place in heat race number 2 to transfer, with Ronnie Johnson, of course, the winner. In heat race number 3, the new car, the new 23 car of Bob Pierce out of Danville, Illinois, made his motion quick and swept around Johnny Burton in the turns, but Burton continued to hold him off. The Greenbrier, Arkansas Flash in the 1B car finds that Bob Pierce has no trouble making his car go any place on the racetrack, and he will finally inch ahead and take away the lead to race to the win in heat race number 3. In the final heat race, it's the number 11 of North Little Rock, Arkansas, of Donnie Barnhart up against hometown favorite Billy Moyer from Batesville, Arkansas. And Moyer shows exactly why 32 races in 1996 and more wins expected in 1997 are no fluke, with his flawless, beautiful race car style as he wins heat race number 4. So once again, Wendell Wallace will take the pole position in the Arkansas 100. Outside row 1, it'll be Ronnie Johnson from Chattanooga. Inside row 2, Bob Pierce. And of course, Billy Moyer starting 4th.
4 fast and furious heat races at Batesville Speedway. It could be the first opportunity of 97 to see a repeat winner in Hav-A-Tampa action. Batesville's Wendell Wallace starts from the pole. Ronnie Johnson, the most recent winner in Hav-A-Tampa action, starts on the outside of row number 1. It was Danville, Illinois' Bob Pierce, and an exciting run to victory in heat race number 3. And of course, Billy Moyer right there on the outside of row number 2. We're getting ready for the Arkansas 100.
And 20 other drivers will make up the rest of the field, of course, for the Arkansas 100 here at Batesville Speedway. And we'll take a look at that lineup when we continue in a moment with more television coverage of the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series in Batesville, Arkansas. The racetrack at Batesville Speedway as we get ready to run the Arkansas 100 with $15,000 to the winner today. Let's take a look at the lineup, Ozzie. Inside row number 1 on the pole, it's Wendell Wallace from Batesville, Arkansas in the 6M car. Outside him from Chattanooga, Tennessee, it's Ronnie Johnson in the 5 car. From Danville, Illinois, inside Bob Pierce in the 23 car. And in the 21 car outside row 2, Billy Moyer from Batesville, Arkansas.
Starting in the 7th position is the 1996 defending national champion on the Hav-A-Tampa Series, Freddie Smith in that famed 00. And starting alongside on the outside of row number 3, Ray Cook out of Murphy, North Carolina in that orange 53 Ford Mustang. Back in the 7th position, Johnny Verdon out of Russellville, Arkansas in one of the GRT house cars, the car number 1V, alongside of North Little Rock, Arkansas's Donnie Barnhart, who'll roll off the grid in the number 11 machine.
Row number 5 inside, it's Dale McDowell in the other Monday trucking car, the 17M from Rossville, Georgia. Outside him from Dalton, Georgia, Marshall Green in the 89. On row 6 inside, it's Johnny Stokes from Columbus, Mississippi. Outside, it's the 5X of Ronnie Pouchet from Natchitoches, Louisiana.
Starting on the inside of row number 7, a 2-time Hav-A-Tampa winner in his career. From Houston, Texas in a Larry Shaw chassis machine, the 77 of Robbie Starnes. Alongside all the way from Lakefield, Minnesota, the yellow and blue 83 of Willie Kraft. Back in row 8 on the inside, it's Springfield, Missouri's Terry Phillips in the red 75, another Camaro, alongside that white G1 of Pontotoc, Mississippi's Steve Russell.
And making it in from the Constellation, inside row 9, it's Mark Miner from Stockbridge, Georgia in the 7 car. Outside, it's the C28 car of Kenny Merchant from Ruston, Louisiana. Inside row 10, Les Essery makes it in from the Consi from Crane, Missouri in the number 5 white car. And G2's David Gibson from Ashflat, Arkansas rounds out row 10.
Back in row 11 on the inside, Springfield, Missouri's Rex McCroskey in that yellow and red number 4 starts a long-time 6-time Hav-A-Tampa event winner Rex Ritchie in the 87 car, that a Larry Shaw house car, starting out there on row 11. In the 12th row, the provisional starters today, the guys that had to use those spots to get into the show, 1993 Hav-A-Tampa champion Clint Smith in the Dunn Benson Ford Mustang starts 23rd in that white number 1, and alongside of him, Donnie Moran from Dresden, Ohio in the GM Performance Parts number 99.
And our opening lineup for the race today brought to you by Iski Racing Cams. Race with the legend, Iski Racing Cams. Ozzie, big field ready to roll here as they get ready to turn the music down and turn up the roar of the cars.
Should be an exciting show this afternoon, Trace, as we enter event number 7. 6 races so far under our belts with 6 different winners. Nobody has won from the pole yet. It could happen today. A repeat winner, however, because both Ronnie Johnson on the outside of row 1 and Wendell Wallace are on a roll right now. 3
out of the top 4 at the front of the race have all won those races we were just referring to. And yes, you're right, Ozzie. They could be one of the first to repeat as a winner in the 1997 season. As Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series competition goes absolutely ballistic in the sunshine here today.
Beautiful weather here in the great state of Arkansas as the Ford Pace truck leads them around down the front straightaway. Just about set to go.
Our camera out in turn 4, of course, looking at a number of the cars coming wise. They begin to warm the tires with that back and forth motion of the front end, and they all whipsaw back and forth on the front straightaway. Of course, once the flag is dropped, they'll try to correct that, stay as straight on the racetrack as they can make it. A lot of beautiful cars looking great here in the sunshine today, and more importantly, a lot of incredible cars. That car you just saw go by on your screen, the 99 car of Donnie Moran from Dresden, Ohio. That's a car to be watching, folks. He'll be coming from the back. Of course, on screen, Ozzie, our champion, Freddie Smith on the 00.
Out of Knoxville, Tennessee, more than 750 career feature wins. He's got 7 Hav-A-Tampa career wins under his belt. He leads the points entering the weekend, and he's still not got his first victory this year.
Amazingly, he keeps working on those top 5s and keeps making them happen. He's been second twice. He's been knocking at the door. So perhaps this may be the day that Freddie Smith finally says, yes, this one's mine.
Starting pretty much towards the front this afternoon, starting in that 5th position. So we'll see what he can do early on. As like you say, he's charged from the back several occasions thus far this year.
Flagman Dwayne Johnson will give him an okay if the start is right. They're going to try to line it up and get set to go. Once they're past the white line, it'll be up to Wendell Wallace to start him up. He'll hit the gas, and the green flag is out. The Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series power is loose at Batesville Speedway as they go around into turn 2, and Wendell Wallace assumes the lead. Ronnie Johnson trying to stay to the high side, but Billy Moyer instantly inside and takes away position number 2.
Trace Billy Moyer not lifting off that gas, drove it deep down to turn number 3, charged around Freddie Smith and under Ronnie Johnson, and he'll now try to chase down fellow Batesville driver Wendell Wallace.
And we stack it up there on the back straightaway. It looks like the 11 car of Donnie Barnhart. He's got damage to the left rear and is slowing down out there in the racetrack. I don't know if he's got an engine problem or it's just going to come to a close. He's trying to get out, it looks like, to the high side, to the exit there in turn 3. Apparently damaged enough that he's going to go right out right away.
Regardless, caution has been shown on the Speedway here with a lap complete officially, and looked like a couple of cars just kind of beating banging back there as they tried to work their way through the field for position.
Obviously, Donnie Barnhart out of North Little Rock had a little bit more than just the average problem. He's pulled completely off into the back part of the racetrack and has pulled himself so far completely out of the race. But Wendell Wallace, the pole sitter, is so far the leader of the Arkansas 100 here at Batesville Speedway and has it in his eye to go for that $15,000 check that Mooney and Connie Starr want to hand over to the winner here today. We'll take a break for Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series television coverage and return with more action at the Arkansas 100 from Batesville Speedway.
Hav-A-Tampa Series, Fast Talk.
Donnie Barnhart of North Little Rock, Arkansas, hustles on the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series circuit in his familiar blue and orange number 11 late model.
Well, we was looking around this winter for a truck to turn into a motor coach for us, a hauler, you know. We test drove a lot of them. We looked at, we run across this Ford here, and it turned out to be a pretty good buy for us. And we really liked the overall appearance, and the truck was good and sound. We drove it and real pleased with it. The Ford's really built where it's got a lot of room up there in the front of the cab, where a lot of them are getting where they build the dashes out, and it really gets kind of cramped up there when you want to move around. And all the miles we got to go up and down the road, you kind of want all the room you can get. So it's really open up there, and like I say, we're real pleased with it.
This Ford Aeromax is a good one to be going down the highway as you travel a long ways for a lot of racing.
It's the only way to go.
Donnie Barnhart, just one of the growing number of Aeromax owners who rely on their Ford truck to cover those long miles between racetracks. The officials are giving them the get-together sign as we try to line them up on the back straightaway, get them closed up so the ranks are ready for speed. And we'll get back to action here. One lap down so far at Batesville Speedway in the Arkansas 100 as Ozzie Altman and myself, Trace Alley, are here to join all the fans to enjoy this incredible race that we're about to witness the restart of as they go down the front straightaway. It's Wendell Wallace easily through turn 1 and 2 with Moyer right and center.
Moyer Moyer now is trying to close up on Wallace, and he'll try to take a peek on the inside as those two cars work way down to the bottom out of turn 3 and 4. Johnson now trying to pull back up with Freddie Smith on his tail as they work their way down the front straightaway.
Essentially, Moyer is working almost the same line, it looks like, as Wendell Wallace. But again, both of those guys know how to test the track early. And behind them, Ronnie Johnson's feeling the pressure right away from Freddie Smith in the 00 car as Freddie begins to work very quickly in traffic to try to get himself into another position without losing the distance he wants to keep between himself and the leaders.
You can look, a lot of these cars, or several of these cars, actually picking up that left front tire off the corner right here as they work their way out of turn 4 and head down the front straightaway. Again, we look back, and now McDowell beginning to put a little distance between he and Ray Cook.
Not to jinx anything, but since we got that first lap caution over with, we've been going strong and running very well. The 17M rolling down the back straightaway, coming up on the 2-car battle between Ronnie Johnson in the 5 car, who just went around Freddie Smith in the 00 as they came through turn 4.
That moves Johnson up to 3rd, and just ahead of him now, Clint Smith a little bit loose now as Wendell Wallace tries to get under him, and Moyer battles for the lead.
Moyer's gone to the outside, uses the traffic. He's got Clint Smith between him and Wendell Wallace and takes the lead, flying down the front straightaway. Now into turn 1. He has taken over the lead as we proceed through the race here of the Arkansas 100. Beautiful movement.
Moyer kind of using his fellow Batesville buddy, getting him trapped behind the car and picked him, and he worked on the outside and made it work. That moves Wallace back to 2nd, but they've got a lap car between them, that being Clint Smith.
And that's going to be tough to get around because Clint Smith is not going to give up any ground no matter who's doing better behind him. The 5-car of Ronnie Johnson continues to excel. Looks like he's going to stay right in position till he can find a spot, very much like maybe Moyer did under Wendell Wallace. However, Wendell Wallace isn't waiting for anybody. He goes to the high side of Clint Smith, takes it away, and heads on down the track still in 2nd.
Now Freddie Smith works to the bottom side of Johnson as they continue that battle for position right behind, and now they get together a little bit, but they sort it out now. Those two veteran drivers, Johnson closes the door back in front of Smith.
Actually, all 3 cars took a little pick at each other, and again, the 5-car noses back under the 1-car, throws that tail out a little bit, and Freddie Smith sits there crouched behind him, ready to spring forward at any moment.
You continue to watch these cars, particularly off of turns 2 and 4, as they try to bend it way down there on the bottom next to that concrete wall. That seems to be the way they can accelerate off the turns, but they have to make some room down there as they try to work behind each other.
Steve Russell in that G1 car goes very low through turn 1 and 2, almost on the wall. Behind him, Kenny Merchant out of Russell, Louisiana, the C28 continues to pull up. He's also making progress, and Russell is showing a little damage to the right rear there, not enough to slow him down apparently at this moment.
This battle back here, you see the 3rd place car of Johnson, and these cars hung up behind Clint Smith have begun to lose sight of the leaders. The leaders enter turn 3 as these guys work out of turn 2.
As Ronnie Johnson goes inside, he's got Clint Smith now to the outside, and here goes Freddie Smith right with him. 00 flies in there. They enter turn 3 almost simultaneously, and behind them the 17M car continues to pull and try to stay on track with him.
The floodgates were open, and there they work down to the bottom of Clint Smith, and now Ray Cook will take advantage of that just behind the cars that you see on the screen there, Ronnie Johnson and Freddie Smith.
And back at the front, so to speak, Billy Moyer continues with Wendell Wallace all over him as they both fight to get around Donnie Brand in the 99 car. Right now on the screen, we're watching the 1B car of Johnny Burton try to hold off the 1 car of Johnny Stokes out of Columbus, Mississippi. It's the battle of ones.
Couple of campaigners, both in GRT chassis, as we work here at a very fast-paced race, just past a 1/3 of the way through this event.
And so far, again, like we said, a bullet speed run for everybody. Everybody doing very well. Only the slow cars at the back really kind of holding up the pace. We're not quite sure yet just what some of the times are on the laps, but obviously they're rolling very fast, pushing those 100-mile-per-hour plus speeds as they enter into each of the turns. We see Moyer there down the front straightaway, still in the lead.
Once again, the leaders, Moyer and Wallace, right up there on lap traffic, and it's Donnie Moran again, who does not want to go a lap down. And we'll see if Wendell Wallace will return the favor that Moyer put on him back on lap 25. Moyer drives hard down to the bottom there. As you see the speed shot, he had gotten by the Donnie Moran car as 1 car slows. That's Mark Miner up in turns 1 and 2 off the pace. Mark
Miner lost something on his handling and went rolling to the outside. Donnie Moran was trying to hold off the pass behind him, but got caught up in it anyway when Rex McCroskey slowed him down and then went to the high side on the front straightaway. The caution is out as Mark Miner sits out in turn 2, and the rest of the field will kind of settle down and get their wits back about them. We'll be back with more racing action here from Batesville Speedway when we continue with Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series television coverage brought to you by Ford Heavy Trucks. We're back at Batesville Speedway as Billy Moyer leads them around, trying to keep those tires warmed up and ready to go. A quick look at the top 10, Ozzie, if we could, real quickly. Looks like Moyer's in first, followed by Wendell Wallace in 6M, and if you'll pick it up from there, it looks like Ronnie Johnson in third.
Yeah, Johnson in third, Freddie Smith back in fourth, Dale McDowell in fifth. It's Ray Cook in sixth, followed by the 89 of Marshall Green in seventh. Johnny Verdon in the 1V runs eighth. Johnny Stokes in that yellow and orange one runs ninth, and Terry Phillips up to 10th.
And as they begin their return, Billy Moyer leads them off, and the number 7 car, Mike Miner, went out in the front straightaway exit, but Moyer's quick, and Wendell Wallace is right there with him. Almost a dual path for those two cars as they went through turn 1 and now down through 3 and 4, again working the very low side of the racetrack, then quickly up to the middle and back down as they dive into turn 1 and again back into 2. A little bobble there on Moyer's car, obviously a soft spot that's begun to emerge on the racetrack, or at least a little bit of a hole possibly.
There you see Ronnie Johnson, Freddie Smith, and Dale McDowell right there. But Moyer and Wallace showing some power this afternoon as they've kind of distanced themselves. You see them exit turn 2 as these guys work through that turn.
Ronnie Johnson, of course, continues to make his way around the racetrack and maintain that third spot. He's done a pretty good job of it most of the race. But behind him, the battle with Freddie Smith in the 00 car continues to intensify as Dale McDowell just shows he's not going to be denied in the 17M car.
You see on your screen there, Terry Phillips and Johnny Stokes in a heated battle, getting together a moment or two ago. Now Phillips rides right behind him, and Poche on further back. All those cars running in the top 10.
Terry Phillips definitely gave him a little tap there on the right or the left rear of the car. You can see the remark left over there.
There you see those two cars continuing to work around the field. Johnny Verdon just in front of those guys. Verdon's teammate Bill Fry unable to make the race this week, Trace. He tried and ran that consi, not able to do it with a broken right arm that he suffered last week. What a story that was. But there is Moyer now stretching that lead out again.
Moyer again getting his tires back under him, appears to be just fine as Ronnie Johnson tries to hold off Freddie Smith, but Freddie Smith has gone to the inside, now has him inside, is pushing him. They're on top of each other as they spin out in turn 3. Second and third place cars, Ronnie Johnson in the 5 car, Freddie Smith in the 00, got just a little too close in turn 3 and get up into each other and stop the race once again.
Well, I guess that's what they call, that's just racing, because those two hard chargers were flat getting after it there. Smith trying to work underneath Johnson, and tremendous damage to that left front quarter of Ronnie Johnson, who's been on such a hot streak lately. Freddie Smith's car also damaged on the right side, and both those cars getting a look over from Hav-A-Tampa officials.
And he'll begin to push down on it. It looks like it really is just a pretty serious crease, not a whole lot more. I don't think there's any frame damage. We're getting a close-up of it here from the television booth. And they'll continue to try to push parts back together there and see if we can get Ronnie back on the racetrack. Ozzie, let's take a look real quick at our top 5 and see how they stand right now.
The complexion definitely changing as the second and third place car fall by the wayside. Moyer, your leader in the 21. It's Dale McDowell in the 17M. Ray Cook running in third, Marshall Green fourth, and Verdon in fifth as they go back to green.
Moyer again demonstrates exactly the right move as he goes through turn 1 and 2, and now it's Dale McDowell in the 17N car, the other Monday car, trying to make up the distance after Wendell Wallace chased him for so long and couldn't keep it after he lost that tire, that right rear that sent him spinning in turn 4 2 laps ago.
So right before that incident involving Smith and Johnson, you had a trio of Camaros up front. Now we look back at Johnny Stokes and Johnny Verdon, both of those cars benefactors of that incident with the Freddie Smith and Ronnie Johnson accident.
Stokes in 6th and Verdon in 5th as they continue to fight. And 17M Dale McDowell, he's pushing Moyer now. He's beginning to attack a little faster and coming right up on Billy. Billy not pulling away quite as easily as before. In fact, now McDowell is virtually almost on the verge of going inside and pushing inside. Moyer holds him off. Great move there on the back of that car. Moyer knows how to stick a car sideways when he has to and still keep racing down the racetrack.
As we said before that incident, it was a trio of Camaros running first, second, and third, and then McDowell and Cook in fourth and fifth in those Ford Mustangs. This is a debut for McDowell's Ford Mustang, and he has got that horse hooked up here this afternoon.
And what a chase he's got going on. Of course, there's a car on the front straightaway slowing down, heading to the pits. It's Ronnie Johnson. The speed on the front straightaway will not stop, though. No caution. Johnson just simply removed himself from the race for some mechanical reason.
Apparently another problem contributed to by that incident with he and Freddie Smith. And this battle for the lead continuing as you continue to look back there. There they are. Moyer in turn 2. McDowell tries to swing to the inside, gives him a little knock there on turn number 2, and closes back in again.
McDowell definitely feels apparently at this moment he's got the tire and the power to do this. Moyer gets up on the wall coming out of turn 4. Boy, that's holding off Dale McDowell the hard way.
He had to pinch it down at the bottom. McDowell looking for just an inch of breathing room down there. Here they go again in turn number 3.
Moyer was up on the wall, had the wheel up there. Here comes, this time it's McDowell on the wall. Oh, what another tight spot.
A little cushion down there against that inside retaining wall, and both of those drivers working on it. Now all of a sudden, McDowell slows down for a moment as he'll try to regroup and make another charge on Moyer.
He may just have upset his front suspension just a little bit on that one, or maybe he's just simply going to hold back, catch his breath, and figure out another approach. That's a little too tight for any car to be trying to pass on.
But these guys here are nothing but hard chargers as McDowell now tries to remount it and closes again. There's Marshall Green. He's having a great run in that Warrior House car, up to 4th for the young driver out of Dalton, Georgia, making a good showing for himself again this week here at Batesville Speedway.
Just continues to do the good thing over and over and over again, and look where it's getting him, all the way to 4th. Johnny Verdon, though, what a race car driver this guy is, but he's got a real problem. Johnny Stokes in the 1 car is definitely coming after him. We've got a caution with a bad break on the back straightaway. Take a look at it, Ozzie.
Race a couple of your points leaders involved. Freddie Smith up against the fence. He came into contact. Wendell Wallace, who's back on the track, he's also involved. There's Kenny Merchant, who's already had a couple of problems today, and Clint Smith, who was a lap down. So those cars getting up there, mixing it up here, and trouble breaks loose here on lap number 70. Just 30 laps away from the finish. We may see a major shakeup in the national points chase here today.
No matter what you saw or what you thought about these cars running single lane, you just saw that the action can break out at almost any moment. We'll be back with more of it here on Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series television coverage as Clint Smith backs his way down the racetrack here at Batesville Speedway. We have some incredible young guns at work here. Of course, Dale McDowell, a little more experienced than Ray Cook, and of course Marshall Green, 2 guys that are like in their 2nd, 3rd, 4th year of dirt track late model racing at this level. But ahead of them all, it's the head of the class himself, Billy Moyer, the master of dirt track magic in that 21 car that has just been beautiful every moment on the racetrack and held off every single attempt to get him as he gets the green flag once again on lap 70 as we pour into the front straightaway at Batesville Speedway. Billy Moyer on the way, headed for the win.
He again stretches that lead. The car gets an incredible jump on the remainder of the field. We'll be able to see here in a moment if McDowell can reel him back in, but right now, Moyer on a rail.
Back in 6th, Johnny Stokes continues to just pound away at the rear end of the 1V car driven by Johnny Verdon. Verdon's tires apparently just don't quite have as much power or enough give to take the power he's got right now. Stokes' cars match beautifully, but he is also trying to get inside to get around him with another attempt going on behind him at the same time from the 75 car, Terry Phillips.
None of those guys are very bashful. They'll try to root their way to the front here, and now they're starting to line up a little bit, and Stokes getting a little impatient now trying to get around the Verdon machine.
Stokes has got to find a way to get around soon because every lap that goes away now at this point is going to take more rubber off those tires and take away some of that control and take away the power that he can lay down on that racetrack.
You see those cars. Meanwhile, the leader works out of turn number 2. It's down to about a 2-car length advantage for Moyer now as we look back at Stokes and Verdon. There's Steve Russell and Ronnie Poche mixing it up there with Robbie Starnes hot on their heels.
All across Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, these 2 guys have taken a snap at each other a couple times in races. They're doing it again here today in Batesville.
Laps continuing to wind down here. 25 laps to go in the Arkansas 100 as Moyer will come back and complete lap number 76.
That car looks absolutely, as they say, on a rail. He continues to pour around the racetrack on the same line over and over again, heading up to 100 miles per hour, driving so smoothly, so well through every single turn, not making a single mistake as he flies.
And again, that lead starting to narrow up for those front two cars. Moyer had about a 5 or 6 car length advantage. McDowell trying to close it down again. Trace, I know a couple of guys that have got to be laughing their chops right now. Ray Cook in third and Marshall Green in fourth. They know that if McDowell and Moyer mix it up, they could have a shot at the victory.
But this battle here with Johnny Stokes and Johnny Burton in the 1B just ahead of him is really shaping up. This is the battle for sixth.
Trouble for Wendell Wallace
on the front straightaway.
And it continues to be a bad day for some of the leaders in the national points chase as Wendell Wallace torn all up here as a car sits down on the inside.
It appears that he came across the track, got in the wall a little bit out of 4, and obviously he got involved in all the wrong ways. His right front's down, and it looks like possibly the left front may be down as well.
Well, it all happened as he tried to work around Willie Kraft. Kraft out of Minnesota in the number 83 car, now sitting just to the outside of Wallace there, and Wallace's car more or less breaking loose and getting all into the 83 machine of Kraft, and it looks like it may be over today for Batesville's Wendell Wallace. The carnage continues, Trace, and one surprising thing, all of these cars that we have on the racetrack, we only have one car on the track that's a lap down. The rest of the cars are on the lead lap, and there's a lot of banged up sheet metal out there, and of course some cars already sent pit side.
17 cars on the track, most of them on the lead lap. Billy Moyer, of course, has led virtually since about 50-something laps ago as we look at lap 78 for a restart here. Moyer's car is just absolutely unbeatable, it appears. He's done an incredible job of getting this car ready for the racetrack, a racetrack that he doesn't necessarily claim is a home track, even though he's from Batesville, Arkansas. He has said repeatedly to me in different interviews, I don't race here enough to call this my home track. But he's obviously making it his today.
Just about ready to go green here with 22 short laps remaining. Billy Moyer will turn them loose. McDowell in second. It's Ray Cook, Marshall Green, and Verdon rounding out the top 5.
Now we go after it once again for the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series. Moyer leads them all, and here comes Dale McDowell again trying to get that heat build up in the tires, which seems to put him back in a position to compete with plenty of speed as he chases Moyer. Moyer holding his own, of course, coming through turn 4, now going just a little wider than he has in the last couple laps. Maybe he too stays a little bit different on the groove while his tires catch up with the heat temperatures as well.
Moyer again with a tremendous jump on the restart, pulls away from McDowell. McDowell now trying to cut that lead back down as those front two cars distance themselves from the third place car of Ray Cook. There again is Marshall Green having an outstanding day, running up in 4th just ahead of Johnny Verdon. Green on a roll here this afternoon at Batesville.
Dale McDowell and Marshall Green, the 17M and 89 cars, started 8th and 9th, make that 9th and 10th respectively, and now ride very close to the front, doing a great job so far in the race car. But again, a great story. In third place, it's the number 53 car of our friend Ray Cook from Murphy, North Carolina, making a tremendous showing here as his race runs today at Batesville Speedway.
10 laps to go as the leaders work down the back straightaway and close up, threatening to put Freddie Smith the lap down.
That battle back there for that 5th spot still continues to be the barn burner here today at Batesville Speedway. Stokes has got to make a move soon if he's going to get around Verdon. He's running out of tire, and so far he hasn't found quite enough inches in that racetrack to get around Johnny Verdon.
These cars continuing to march around Batesville Speedway as we continue to look at those cars running back in the 5th, 6th, and 7th spot. Moyer right up on Freddie Smith. McDowell with a bid for the lead as they head to the
They go 3 wide on the front straightaway. McDowell almost had him, but Moyer held him back there just beautifully. What a great move. What a great save.
McDowell again closed up, gave him a little wake-up call. They'll work out of turn number 4 again now. 93 laps complete as we close down on the checkered flag.
There's plenty of power left in the 17M Ford engine, apparently. He's letting Moyer know that he's going to be coming. And Stokes gets caught up that time from behind by the Terry Phillips 75 car as they both continue to try to find a way to get around Verdon.
And that clock begins to tick now, winding down with just 7 laps to go. Moyer stretches out to about a 4-car length advantage, but watch McDowell as he tries to close it in. Ray Cook stands in the gas, and he'll try to reel those lead cars in again.
Again, Stokes continues his onslaught, continues the pressure, but Johnny Verdon drives his car, making it at least 3 feet wider every time in the turn and holding them off as they continue to pour down the back straightaway, fighting still for that 4th spot, 5th spot, still in contention.
As tenacious as Stokes has charged, Burden has held him off, and the real story lies about a half a straightaway in front of these guys as Moyer, McDowell, and Ray Cook continue to battle down toward the checkered flag. There they are at turn number 4. The GVS racing machine of Billy Moyer leading the way. Again, here comes McDowell. He'll close down in turn 2.
They're in the last of 4 laps. $15,000 on the line. Plenty of speed and plenty of need for that money and the win here today as they both go at it. Coming out of turn 4, down the front straightaway, growing tighter by the moment as we race the Arkansas 100.
3 laps to go. Can he catch him? Dale McDowell trying to run down Billy Moyer. 2 of the hard-chargingest dudes in dirt track racing. They work out of turn 4 with 2 short laps to go.
1 more lap, and then it'll be the white flag lap for Billy Moyer, who's continued to just blossom all day long in the sunshine in Batesville, Arkansas, and run them away. He's taking the lead and held on to it ever since he did that several laps ago. He continues to run. The white flag is out, and here we go. Can Dale McDowell chase him down? He comes around out of turn 2. Both cars giving it everything they've got. This is the last time those tires have got to hold. Moyer's got it coming around 4. No problem there. He'll take the checkered flag of the Arkansas 100. Billy Moyer has $15,000 and the second win of the season in the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series.
The first man to do so in 1997. A happy bunch in the GVS racing stables as Moyer takes a Larry Shaw chassis machine to victory lane. First time in a long time he'll do that. Big Johnson Racing Apparel and Bazooka Base Tubes, all benefactors today of Billy Moyer's big win in his hometown of Batesville, Arkansas.
Seems like old times. Billy Moyer in a Larry Shaw car winning in Batesville and all over the place. What a race. Dale McDowell, of course, incredible in second. That 17M car definitely hooked up and rolling today. Great racing effort on his part, and an incredible finish there by Ray Cook. Go ahead and finish up, if you will, for us on the lineup.
Yeah, Ray Cook in 3rd. It was Marshall Green back in 4th. Johnny Burden in 5th. Johnny Stokes in 6th. Terry Phillips tried to make a run around Stokes, but ends up finishing in the 7th spot. Steve Russell with a nifty run in 8th. Houston, Texas driver Robbie Starnes in 9th. And David Gibson out of Ashflat, Arkansas, rounds out the top 10.
A great effort on the part of every single driver out there. Moyer now heading to the scales. When we come back with Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series television coverage, we'll talk to the winner of the Arkansas 100 at Batesville Speedway. Billy Moyer emerges from the number 21 car. GVS race team members crowded around him. He's taken the big win here at Batesville Speedway. Arkansas 100 and $15,000, becoming only the first driver in 1997 to win 2 races in the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series. He's repeated that first win, now stands alone and heads closer to the top in the points. Our man Jerry Albrecht is ready to talk to the winner down on the front straightaway.
Congratulations, Billy. Batesville, Arkansas looks pretty good to you right now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. That's good when you get here at home. We didn't know we was going to get it there for sure or not. Wendell kind of had some rotten luck there in them lap cars, and but you know, there was 3 or 4 of them here that all run good. We just tried to stay out of trouble, and the tire deal was such a game here today that you know, being in the afternoon and stuff, that there was a lot of different combinations out there, about like last weekend, I think, but we kept all the air in them and made it through.
Speaking of the tires, exactly what was the combination on the tires?
Well, they make asphalt type rubber tires, and they make like a natural rubber synthetic type tire that you know, so it's a gamble that, you know, the one works better right off the get-go and the other one works better in a long run or whatever. So I think there's like Ronnie, I think, had a different combination. I think Wendell and I had the same thing on pretty much. So you know, the asphalt type rubber turned out to be a little bit better maybe.
Well, 25 laps into the race, you were in front, and you stayed there the whole time, even though you had some bumping and grinding, some real challengers coming up behind you. How about this Larry Shaw race car?
Well, that's, you know, a brand new car, first time on it, so that's a way to break it in. Larry and Randy Sweet had a lot to do with doing the front end on the car, and, you know, the GVS guys, you know, they for sure, you know, put it together, and a couple, you know, just everything turned out good. But Shaw and Sweet, and, you know, we did our homework, like, you know, we was talking about there earlier yesterday or whatever, and the car feels real good in these kind of situations here. I'm real happy with it.
You started in 9th position. You continually worked your way up. It was carnage out there today. How did you work your way up?
Well, we at the start of the race, the car was pretty good. I think there was several different tire selections out there today. This was supposed to have been a Saturday night show, and due to rain and bad weather, you know, they had to run a Sunday afternoon show. So, you know, everything just didn't fall our way for the win, but a top 5, and need to thank GRT and Race Cars and Monday Motorsports, Race Engine Design, and Dover Cylinder Head.
And the final standings, of course, have Billy Moyer on top with the $15,000 win, followed by Dale McDowell, Ray Cook in third with his best finish of the year, Marshall Green in fourth, Johnny Verdon fifth, and Johnny Stokes comes in at sixth. Terry Phillips from Springfield, Missouri comes in seventh, followed by Steve Russell, Robbie Starnes, David Gibson out of Ashflat, Arkansas, Rex McCroskey, and champion Freddie Smith finishing 12th. Donnie Moran from Dresden, Ohio comes in 13th, followed by Louisiana's Kenny Merchant in 14th, Louisiana's Ronnie Boucher in 15th, and Clint Smith out of Georgia in 16th with Willie Kraft and Les Esri in 17th and 18th. And Batesville driver Wendell Wallace in the 6M Monday car finishes 19th, followed by Ronnie Johnson in 20th, Bob Pierce in 21st, then Mark Miner, Rex Ritchie, and Donnie Barnhart. Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series Television is brought to you by Ford Heavy Trucks, maker of the all-new Aeromax and Louisville Truck Series. Together, we can run the country. And by the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series, America's biggest dirt track late model series. A-Sports radio communications are provided by Team 1 Communications, a great way to hear the race. Call Team 1 for your own scanner. Long-distance telephone service provided to A-Sports by Taylor Communications. Call for information on how to save on your home or business long-distance car. Great racing is always more enjoyable when you sleep comfortably, and the Ramada Inn, Batesville, is the perfect place to stay. The Ramada Inn is located at Highway 167 North in Batesville. Call 870-698-1800 for reservations. Hav-A-Tampa Series television schedules across America will be found on the internet at www.asportsnet.com. All rights to this telecast are the property of A-Sports Marketing. Your VHS tape copy can be purchased for $19.95 plus shipping, handling, and applicable tax. Call 1-888-TAMPA-00 to order. The Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series television coverage is provided by A-Sports Marketing exclusively for the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series. Special thanks, of course, to the Larry Shaw family for those incredible race cars and an incredible comeback, and especially Connie and Mooney Starr of Batesville Speedway. Billy Moyer has his second series win of the season. For Ozzie Altman, this is Trace Ali. Thanks for watching.